Hey everybody, Sean here from Somm Wine Club, and I have got some wine for you. This is the 2017 Tornatore Pietrarizzo Etna Rosso from Mount Etna in Sicily, in southern Italy. Now, there's a lot to process there, but we can break it down. Tornatore is the producer. Pietrarizzo is the contrada, it's the individual named place where the fruit comes from. Etna Rosso is the DOC, the region that is classified. And the grape variety here is Nerello Mascalese. Nerello Mascalese is the native grape of Etna Rosso DOC. So Tornatore has been producing wine in Etna and in Sicily since 1865. They're a well-respected producer in the region and one of its brightest stars. In order to be labeled as Pietrarizzo, all the fruit has to come from that individual contrada. So this is a unique kind of look at a single estate, single vineyard expression of Nerello Mascalese on the northern slopes of Mount Etna, this active volcano in the eastern part of Sicily. So, being that this is an active volcano, there is often ash and lava flows and this impact from the volcano that reinvigorates the soil, adds minerals, adds nutrients, and creates a fascinating kind of diversity of volcanic soils. It also means that a lot of this region is immune to phylloxera, the louse that is known to wipe out vineyards that are not planted with phylloxera-resistant rootstock. So it doesn't really survive in this decomposed volcanic sandy soil that you find in Etna. So there is a lot of still ungrafted 100-year-old, 200-year-old vines in Mount Etna. The ones that haven't been wiped out by some kind of lava flow and had to be replanted at any pace. So Nerello Mascalese is a fascinating variety. You'd think, being so far south in Italy, that all the wines would be hot and dense and spicy and rich and tannic and dark. And that is not the case with Nerello. Nerello is a fairly pale, thin-skinned, aromatic red with a ton of spice character, a ton of lifted, bright red fruit. I kind of like thinking about Nerello as like a volcanic Pinot Noir of Sicily and of southern Italy, because it has a little bit of the similar characteristics: great acidity, great freshness, moderate tannins, and a earthy, savory quality to it, along with bright red fruit. There's lots of like really tangy red cherry, red plum, dried floral, like rose petals, like someone's made potpourri, but without the sweetness, without the perfume character, just like dried herbs and flowers. There's like a blood orange, like citrus, but darker. There's like freshly grated cinnamon here. There's a stony kind of mineral character. I mean, unsurprisingly, we're talking about very mineral-rich volcanic soils. This is done in concrete and then large oak casks, so no new oak influence here. We're not getting oak flavor. It's all just the fruit and the spice character and the expression of this place. It almost smells a little bit like Amaro, like the Italian bitter liqueur. It has this kind of bark, wood, herb, spice, bitter aroma that is really, really pleasant. And I don't even think that I've tasted it yet. I actually think I've just been standing here smelling it because it's pretty intoxicating. Oh, so great texture, great line of acidity and freshness. You have to think that the slopes of Mount Etna, you are getting up in altitude. So when you go up in altitude, you actually go down in temperature. You have huge swings in temperature from daytime highs to nighttime lows. That helps the grapes get ripe because being on the north side of the mountain, they are facing away from that southern hot sun, which helps keep them fresh. And then cool nighttime temperatures preserves acidity and preserves the brightness and the energy of these wines. There is some tannin here, but it is really well integrated. It's fine grained, silky. It has just a touch of grit to it, and it kind of coats your mouth. It's like a really pleasant, moderate amount of tannin. I was in Sicily in 2011. I didn't make it over to Etna, unfortunately, but Sicily as a place, I just think is stunningly beautiful and fascinating and interesting, and I love exploring places and the cultural significance of these places through food and wine. So you taste a wine from this region and you start to get an idea about its people and about this place. And then you can play with food and you can learn about the traditional dishes of the region. And in Sicily, they'll fight back and forth about like whose dishes are the most authentic, whether you're in the west or the east. Different pronunciation. Sometimes even Italians can't understand Sicilians when they talk because their language is developed all on its own, and there's still a lot of Sicilian native speakers rather than Italian native speakers. But what I'm like craving right now is it's called braciole. It's like pounded thin flank steak that's been rolled and stuffed with herbs and pine nuts and cheese, and then simmered slow in tomato sauce so it soaks up all of the flavor from the sauce. It's almost like a flank steak roulade. Basically, instead of a meatball, you can serve that on top of like fresh pasta. This wine's really drinkable just on its own, but the complexity here, the amount of substance and how much there is going on really means that this wine is crying out for some kind of food. It like wants to be on your dinner table. It wants to encourage conversation. You need to talk and think and study this wine because it has so much to give. So if you're going to have a glass while you're cooking, save the rest of the bottle for dinner. Or open something else while you're cooking, cook, have this with your dinner, and then you don't have to worry about running out of wine. Oh. Okay, well, I'm going to go and sit down and enjoy the rest of this because I'm really, really happy right now. I hope you are too. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you all next time.